In this tutorial, Randy will show you how Danny seamlessly changes into an astronaut suit one piece at a time. Danny, give us an example.
All good astronauts must have the right equipment, and that starts with a good pair of space boots. Next, you need space pants that allow mobility.
Danny says you need oxygen or you will die.
Flexible gloves are a must to handle super secret space experiments. Finally, we top it off with a supreme space helmet. Now I am ready to fly to the stars.
This is an easy technique to do with the Create Studios 3D Creator characters. Keep watching and we'll show you how. This is Randy
and Patrick
with Create Studio 4 tips. Start by adding the Danny character to the canvas or timeline. Change the default action of idle to pointing down. Then click on the Add New Action and add Juggling Football, followed by Doing a Funny Face, Science Experiment, and finishing with the Floating Action. For this tutorial, it will be helpful to see all the actions on the timeline, so I will click on this Fill Timeline icon. If you have dialogue, you can import it onto the timeline and set the action's duration to match the dialogue. I am using pauses in the waveform to indicate when to change scenes. The duration can be modified by moving the action marker right or left. For this project, I will move the markers so they occur in the middle of the pauses.
Hey folks, sometimes we notice the waveform shown on the dialogue track doesn't really match the sound. This is just a warning that you can't always trust that the waveform is accurate to the audio.
Patrick is correct, but fortunately for this audio, the waveform is accurate. Next, I will move the playhead to each marker between actions, and with the dialogue track selected, use the scissors icon to cut the dialogue track. You will see why I cut the dialogue track when it comes time to lip-syncing the audio to Danny. The trick to changing Danny's outfit seamlessly is to make duplicate copies of the Danny track and customize his outfit differently for each duplicate. To keep organized, I will rename the Danny track to Danny 1. Click on the duplicate icon above the timeline or use the keyboard shortcut Command D. Rename the duplicate to Danny 2. With the Danny 2 track selected, go to the Customize panel and select Shoes. Change Danny's shoes to astronaut boots. Somewhere in the middle of the pointing down action, place the playhead and click on Add Animation above the timeline. Select the Opacity animation. 2 diamonds will appear on the Danny 2 track. These diamonds are called keyframes. Click and drag that last keyframe to the left to be behind the first keyframe. In this case, the timeline is too compressed to move the last diamond 1 frame from the first, so use this action to expand the timeline. Now you can move the last keyframe further left. Jump your playhead to the time by the first keyframe by clicking on it. Okay, now select the Danny 1 track and add an opacity animation to it. For this one, I will use the keyboard shortcut O. Drag the last keyframe all the way left. Click your mouse on the last keyframe and open the Properties panel and change the opacity to 0%. Next, click on the first keyframe of the Danny 2 track and also change its opacity to 0%. When I scrub the playhead back and forth, you can see Danny's shoes will change into astronaut boots. Because Danny 2 is a duplicate of Danny 1, the character's action for each track will be the same at any point of time. The next step is to change Danny's bottom to space pants. With the Danny 2 track selected, duplicate it. Rename the new track Danny 3. When you place your mouse between an animation's keyframes, the cursor will change to a pointing finger. This allows you to move the animation along the track. I am going to move this animation to just before the next action starts. If you recall, this animation changes the opacity from 0% to 100%. Select the Danny 2 track and add an opacity animation with the keyboard shortcut Command O. Drag the last keyframe all the way to the left and open the Properties panel and set the opacity to 0%. Select the top Danny track and change Danny's bottom to astronaut pants.
We will fast forward through this section since it is a repeat of the steps just completed. Randy will end up duplicating the Danny track 3 more times. For each one, he slides the opacity animation to the next action. Then add an opacity animation to the track underneath to turn its opacity to 0%. When all is done, you will have 6 Danny tracks.
Okay, let's lip sync the audio to the various Danny tracks. Scroll down to the audio track, select the last audio clip, and then do a right mouse click. Select Sync with Danny 6. Right mouse click on the previous audio clip and select Sync with Danny 5. When I selected the previous audio clip, I realized that this is when Danny was doing the funny face action with his mouth closed.
That's right. I had to interpret his mumbling and tell everyone that the spacesuit comes with an oxygen tank.
Right, so we will not lip sync this section. Instead, move to the previous audio clip and lip sync that to Danny 3. Then move on to the first audio clip. Okay, this one is interesting as Danny 1 and Danny 2 will share the same audio.
Oh yeah, that's right. Why don't you cut the track in the middle and assign the first half to Danny 1 and the second half to Danny 2?
Getting the timing right is tricky, so here's another way to do it. Duplicate the first audio track so there are 2 copies of it. I will assign the top copy to Danny 2 and the bottom copy to Danny 1. Okay, let's play that and see how it looks.
All good astronauts must have the right equipment.
Stop that!
And
It sounds horrible.
It really does. To fix this, turn the volume of one of the audio clips to 0%. Even though the audio is silent, the lip syncing still works. All right, I will play it again from the beginning.
All good astronauts must have the right equipment, and that starts with a good pair of space boots. Next, you need space pants that allow mobility.
Danny says you need oxygen or you will die.
Flexible gloves are a must to handle super secret space experiments. Finally, we top it off with a supreme space helmet. Now I am ready to fly to the stars.
There you go. That is how you can change a character's clothing seamlessly. Hey everyone, have a good day and happy creating.